And joining us this morning is Greg Reilly. And of course, you brought with us again Moppet, who's going to fall off the table.
Fall off the table here. So.
Maxing and relaxing. I always love it when Moppet comes to town and when you come here, Greg. But we have to start with some sad news today to talk about really a giant in the veterinarian world. Recently passed, and we talked about it, Dr. Shu.
Correct. Recently, a colleague of ours, Dr. Marvin Gilbert Shu, passed away. He is a fine example of giving back to the community as opposed to receiving everything. So I kind of really briefly wanted to touch about this wonderful man and his contribution to the veterinary community and to the Wabash Valley. Sure. And ironically enough, today, of all things, is National Love Your Pet Day. So we're kind of tying in Dr. Shu with Love Your Pet Day. And it also kind of goes to prove that, Congress can indeed, pass legislation on both sides of the aisle.
That's definitely true. And you were going to say something.
I was going to say, and we just showed you video there of Dr. Shu receiving an award recently this past year. And if you could talk a little bit about why a man like him would deserve that.
Right.
Probably really just because there's so much pressure and so much stress on being a veterinarian in terms of your time, in terms of your dedication, and, to be honest with you, in terms of finances. If you get into the profession, you're not really doing it to become rich overnight. There's a lot of times where you have to give up, say, if you're going to go to the movies or you have to go to the play, well, all of a sudden you can't because one of your clients needs your help. And Dr. Shu had really sacrificed pretty much a good portion of his life to this profession, which I kind of consider not really so much of a science, but more of an art.
Sure, absolutely. And when you talk about National Love Your Pet Day, I mean, nobody exemplifies it more than those who sacrifice their time, like you, like Dr. Shu did, to make sure that pets are safe. We just finished talking about weather, and obviously that's such an important deal right now, especially for humans, but really for pets too.
Right, absolutely. Now, I've not groomed Moppet for a while. I mean, she's pretty hairy and so forth. But if you think about her, would you say that she would do really well in this kind of weather?
I don't think anybody would do really well in this type of weather.
Right. And I mean, the reason why I say that is if you take a look at her face, if we can get a close-up of her face, she does not have a snout whatsoever, okay? So even though she's nice and hairy and so forth, those wind chills right now and this nasty weather that we're going to be getting this weekend, when she's outside and she's breathing, it's going to go right into her lungs and cause some problems. So I would really recommend, if you do have pets that are outside, bring them inside if you can. Put them in a barn or put them in some garage with a space heater, cats included. It's going to be a really nasty wintry mix this weekend, so I really urge everyone to take proper precaution.
Well, and Brittany, I know you've had to modify Winnie's schedule a little bit to accommodate the winter months. I mean, that's just a good idea. You
just have to remind them and maybe share with people. I know Winnie, when she goes outside, and Moppet's had this issue, it gets so cold out, it actually can hurt their paws.
It can. There's a lot of people that know my Chinese crested pagan, who's just completely bald. He likes to get little ice pellets inside in between his paws, and he kind of whimpers and so forth. So those are some of the things that you have to kind of be careful of.
Absolutely. One of the things that I know I have done and vets have said is to wipe their paws off when they come back inside, especially if you've just put salt out.
Right. That's a really good idea. I mean, obviously you don't want your pet ingesting some of the salt just because there's a lot of chemicals that could be in a lot of these de-icing mixtures that can cause some harm to your pet.
So people obviously need to contact their local veterinarian if they have questions. If people want to get in contact with you, how can they do that?
They can contact the Honey Creek Animal Hospital at 234-7752, area code 812.
That's it.
Changing that now. Or you can reach me on Facebook at Greg the Pet Guy at live.com.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Greg. And of course, we love having Moppet too. And if you have any questions, just give Greg a call.